If you're like working entirely alone in a stranger's house, you're pretty much conditioned to fear the boogeyman kicking in the door. I mean, that's what we all think of, right?
Oh, absolutely. The classic horror movie scenario.
Exactly. But according to the data, the thing most likely to put you in the hospital isn't a criminal at all. It's the client's plumber or a rolling tennis ball.
Yeah, or just a profound failure in safety design.
Right. So our mission for you today is an exploration into the source material, specifically a really fascinating field note by Beth Pasick. It's all about lone worker safety in the pet care industry. And I gotta say, it really changes how you look at things.
It really does.
Okay, let's unpack this. She looked at an informal poll of 156 pet sitters and dog walkers from a Facebook community, and she basically asked them what real-world events they've actually faced on the job. Not just what they've been trained to fear, but what, actually happened.
And the baseline data here is, frankly, staggering. Roughly 65% of those respondents reported experiencing at least one lone worker event during their careers.
Wow, 65%. That is huge.
Right. And these incidents, they fell almost entirely into two really mundane categories. It was either unexpected access by other people or the worker suddenly becoming the victim of an injury or illness.
So we have 65% of people running into these events, but almost zero actual burglars. Which begs the question, if it's not the boogeyman kicking in the door, who exactly is standing in the hallway when the sitter turns around?
Yeah, the reality completely flips our expectations of that whole stranger danger idea.
It really does. I mean, look at this list of actual intruders from the poll. It's wild. We've got roofers who showed up at the wrong house, cleaning crews.
Just, going about their day.
Right. Adult children, neighbors. Oh, and there was even a tenant who leased part of the property and just decided to pop in to use the restroom.
Which is terrifying if you don't know they're coming.
Oh, 100%. And out of all 156 responses, there was only one reported incident of what NIOSH, the National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health, what they classify as type 1 violence.
Meaning your classic criminal intruder with no legitimate reason to be there.
Just one.
Just one. It's like watching a play where half the actors just didn't get the script. I mean, everyone walking onto that stage firmly believes they are absolutely supposed to be there. Mm-hmm. And that just creates immediate, unpredictable chaos.
What's fascinating here is the psychology of that exact moment. Because these visitors usually have a completely legitimate reason to be inside the house, the core danger isn't criminal intent.
It's a misunderstanding.
Exactly. The danger is undisclosed access. The pet sitter simply had no idea these people existed or, that they possessed a key.
I'm getting stuck on something, though, as we go through this. I mean, if we know these are just roofers and neighbors, isn't this easily solvable?
How do you mean? Well, can't pet sitters just fix this by having a strict policy? Like a clause in the client contract saying you have to disclose anyone who might drop by or who has a key. Problem solved, right?
You would think so. And the text actually points out that many sitters do have those strict policies in place.
Okay, so why doesn't that work?
Because a piece of paper cannot force a client's brain to remember every single ex-spouse, relative, contractor, or, neighborhood kid who was given a spare key 3 years ago.
Oh, right. People just forget.
Yeah, the policy exists, but human memory inevitably fails.
Which makes sense, because you can't really prepare for someone you don't know exists.
Right. And that leads to the underlying mechanics of why an innocent misunderstanding is so dangerous.
Yeah.
Think about the volatile mix of that situation.
Oh, for sure.
A sitter standing in a dimly lit hallway cannot visually distinguish an undisclosed plumber from a dangerous criminal.
Yeah, in that split second, it's just a shadow in the house.
Exactly. And the plumber can't tell if the sitter is supposed to be there either. Neither knows the other's identity.
Which is a complete recipe for disaster.
It really is.
Yeah.
Add a startled or highly protective dog to that confusion. Or consider if one of those people is carrying a defensive weapon.
Oh, man, yeah.
Or someone makes a frantic 911 call. An ordinary failure to communicate escalates into a fatal encounter in just a matter of seconds.
Man, that is intense. So, okay, we've covered the human element. But looking at this poll, the actual physical environment seems just as volatile.
Oh, definitely.
And here's where it gets really interesting. We aren't talking about hidden booby traps here. We are talking about old deck stairs just giving way, stepping in a hidden hole in the yard.
Just normal, everyday hazards.
Exactly. Or my personal nightmare scenario from the poll, the disastrous combination of a loose rug, a rolling ball, and a very heavy dog.
That one is so specific, but honestly so common.
Right. And the outcomes are severe. The poll highlights things like broken bones, sudden tunnel vision, and dizzy spells that literally force sitters to lie down on the sidewalk during a walk.
Yeah. And in traditional industries, safety teams use what's called the Ceph lens to evaluate situations exactly like this.
The Ceph lens, what's that?
It stands for serious injury and fatality planning. So instead of just logging a twisted ankle on a broken stair, they run a simulation.
Okay, so they look at what could have happened.
Exactly. They ask, if that sitter was standing 2 inches to the left and hit their head, what is our mechanism to find them?
Wow.
Or, if a sitter collapses from illness, what happens if a highly protective dog is loose in the house when paramedics try to force their way in?
That is terrifying to think about. And when you apply that Ceph lens to pet sitting, you realize there is practically no mechanism.
None at all.
Looking at this, there is a massive design flaw in how this industry operates. I mean, it's like an airplane where the emergency parachute is just the pilot flapping their arms.
That is a great way to put it.
The entire safety net assumes the injured person will remain fully conscious, mobile, and capable enough to secure the dogs and arrange their own rescue.
Right? The worker becomes the emergency, but they remain the only person available to manage the workplace.
That is just wild. So what does this all mean? If we distill this down for you, our listener, the core takeaway is that right now, in this industry, the safety control is the sitter.
Yeah,
The
unfortunately.
emergency response system is essentially just, figuring it out in the moment.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, as the pet care industry scales and matures, it has spent years and a lot of money professionalizing the care of the animals.
Right, making sure the pets are perfectly safe.
Yes, but it is severely lagged behind in professionalizing the protection of the people providing that care.
And this applies directly to you too, whether you are an independent contractor, a manager, or just someone who occasionally works alone in a building. It's a stark reminder to look at your own safety nets.
Absolutely. You have to ask yourself, does your system completely collapse if the person in charge is suddenly incapacitated?
Because that is the ultimate stress test for any lone worker protocol. Which leaves us with a chilling unanswered question pulled right from the end of the source material.
It's a tough one to think about.
It really is. We started by talking about the horror movie Boogeyman at the door, but the real scare is the mundane silence. If a solo worker passes out inside a private home today, what exactly would detect that emergency? And how long would that person remain undiscovered on the floor?